Alright, guys, today we're going to be going through the hacking incident side of shit. So, we're going to be learning how hackers get into the. Hold on, what the fuck? Come on, bro. None of this shit can run smoothly ever, bro. Come on. Alright, here we go. Finally. So, in this live, we're going to be talking about the top breaches of 2025, right? And then we're going to try to get an idea of who did it and how they hacked into a computer system, right? So the first one here, I kind of got ahead of myself. So you see here, Salt Typhoon. So this is a hacking group from China, right? So I was reading this right here, the first incident. So the Salt Typhoon hacking incident. A Chinese-linked cyber espionage group known as Sultan Typhoon executed a major attack on a U.S. telecommunication firms. This breach exploited critical communication infrastructures, highlighting the necessity for advanced security measures within the telecommunications sector. This incident served as a critical warning to address telecommunication securities, right? So, my first thing, I wanted to learn more about the group itself, right? So, I went to Wikipedia real quick. So, Salt Typhoon is an advanced persistent threat actor believed to be operated by China's Ministry of State Security. So this right here already tells me that this group is government sponsored. So in other words, a lot of these people get paid well, and you know for a fact the government recruits the best of the best, the brightest, right? People who know how to code, who obviously who understand how to code. They understand the ins and outs of working of an operating system. They understand web bugs. They might, et cetera, right? So that's what state-sponsored hackers are. They're a like a branch of the government that are sent to attack important sectors of another country, right? And obviously, as we read, this hacking group hacked into the telecommunication side, and actually, let's see. Let's read a little bit more. Let's see. We find
No
out
matter how you travel, it's good to have a
the
plan.
outgoing head of
Some people plan
telecommunication
every
message
minute.
Chinese
No sleep for bus, museum, and other
espionage
stuff.
operation
While
against the
others
U.S.
only plan the
telecommunication
day, day
firm
by
known as
day.
Sultan Typhoon
When
is
it comes to
declaring a
your
call to address
finances,
the
a
significant.
plan is just as
Let's see
important.
if we get anything
You can
interesting.
count on Credit Karma to give you the insights you need to understand your options so you can take charge of your financial path and
Not
find your way
much,
to money. Intuit
but
Credit Karma,
the
karma you can count on. Download the app today.
the telecommunication companies are like, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. So this hacking group is specifically targeting these companies to try to get as much information as it can. And honestly, it is a valuable target because unfortunately, the way that the world works today is that everybody communicates through a cell phone. So you can definitely find a lot of data stored in these databases that these companies have, right? Like things like phone calls, text messages. You know what I mean? Just anything you do on a cell phone, I believe they store it. So for them, for this hacking group, it is an important target. So that's unfortunate. But let's keep reading. Organization attribution. Sultan Typhoon is widely understood to be operated by China's Ministry of State Security, its Foreign Intelligence Service, and its secret police. So wow. So it has three government entities, right, that helped this hacking group out. The Chinese embassy denied all allegations, saying it was unfounded and irresponsible smears and slanders. This is not. This is obviously a lie. It is widely known that a bunch of countries have state-sponsored hackers, and China is definitely one of them. According to Trend Micro, the group is well organized with a clear division of labor, whereby attacks targeting different regions and industries are launched by distinct actors, suggesting the group consists of various teams, furthering highlighting the complexity of the group's operation. In the late 2024, U.S. officials announced that the hackers affiliated with Salt Typhoon had access to computer systems of 9 U.S. telecommunication companies, later acknowledged to include Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Spectrum, Lumen, consolidated communications at Windstream. The attack targeted U.S. broadband networks with particularly core network components, including routers manufactured by Cisco, which route large portion of the internet. In October 2024. Oh wow, that's interesting. If you don't know, the way that computers communicate, they rely mainly on routers. So a router is just like a hub where your packet travels to, and then that router is like a beacon that furthers your packet to travel, right? So it's like what would be a good example of explaining this? So think about your home router, right? So all the communication you do, it goes through your main router, and then from that router it goes through another router, and then that router talks to another router, another router, another router, another router, until it gets to its destination server, and then that server sends the information back through the same router, right back into your main home router and then your computer. So they somehow found a way to hack into the routers. So I'm assuming they somehow got what's that like a backdoor access, which is not good. And I've actually seen their I believe China has a black hack. Let's look that up. Hold on, google.com. Chinese hacking convention. Security with 2.5 million offered at upcoming Matrix. So what China does is that it throws a hackathon, kind of like Black Hat, and the targets are products that are out in the wild, right? So it could be the latest version of Adobe. If you find a way to find a remote code execution bug, right, for Adobe, you can be rewarded 100,000, right? Let's just say if you want to find a remote code execution vulnerability on on a router, on a service running on a port. This China hosts black hat conventions that try to exploit this sort of stuff. So let's see what we read here. A prize pool of 2.5 is being offered at an upcoming Chinese hacking contest for exploits targeting a wide range of technology products, particularly ones made in the West. The competition, named Matrix Cup, is being described as the Eastern Hemisphere's top cybersecurity competition, set to take place June 26 to 28. Matrix Cup is sponsored by Chinese cybersecurity firm Keyhole 360 and Beijing's Wuhan's on information. By the way, these motherfuckers are working with their government. There's no way in hell they're not. Organizers are offering a total of 20 million yuan, 2.7 million to participants, including 18 million yuan, 2.5 for 0-day exploits, right? The list of the targets include Windows, Linux, Mac OS operating system, not surprised, Samsung Galaxy, Google Pixel, iPhone, and several China-made smartphone brands, enterprise products from Microsoft, Zimbra, F5, Citrix, networking devices from Cisco, Juniper. So everything that I explained earlier, right? So finding old days in the devices that you use every day or on the wild is how these people steal information, these hacking groups, right? So what they do is that they rely on the person who finds the most 0 days in these events. They'll pick them up. They'll say, hey bro, you're good at what you do. How much you need? You need 200,000 a year? You need 300,000 a year? 400,000 a year? All right, brother, we're gonna need your skills. And they grab the smartest individuals, and they just target products that are out in the live. You know what I mean? That's why, in my opinion, I'm not surprised that a lot of these motherfuckers become victim to a lot of these companies, they become victim to you know what I mean, a hacking group, right? Like it doesn't surprise me at all. Let's see. All right, so let's continue. Or let me see. Let's actually keep learning about these guys. So the list of targets include Windows. I already went through that. Targets include databases such as most soldier cybersecurity challenges by new technology, lower risk. New information. Chinese language website is for Matrix Cup. Whether the demonstrated vulnerabilities will be reported or affected. You know what? Let's check this out. 0-day exploits for sale, South America. One place that's super underrated or under talked about that has a lot of very brilliant hackers is South America as well. South America has a lot of very good fucking hackers, and a lot of these motherfuckers they find the ways into systems, right? Let me see. I'm just gonna use Google. Zero-day exploits South American. Zero-day exploits from South American hackers. Well, that's how to pinpoint. American hackers brings up without detail. Verified reports as point to the 0 days for global threat. 0-day brokers. I remember reading a very cool article regarding South American hackers. Let's see if I read like this. Let me see. Alright, let's see this one. I think it's this one. Hacker's Paradise. Why Latin America is so vulnerable. Ah, shit. Well, that's not good. The double-edged sword of cyber threats in Latin America. From Mexico to Argentina, please continue to hack network systems in the challenge industry. Assumption. Let's see this one. Ask any cybersecurity intelligence analyst about today's major threats, and they will likely launch a discussion about hacking groups in China, Iran, North Korea, Russia. Huh? Good hackers there for sure. Indeed, a state-sponsored threat actors in these countries are highly sophisticated and have wreaked havoc on global network infrastructure. However, the cybersecurity industry continues to overlook other areas of the world. This information gap constitutes a problem in an increasingly interconnected society. The sovereignty of national borders becomes obsolete when cyber criminals can target victims located anywhere at just a click of a button. Therefore, the threat intelligence industry needs to better track events occurring in areas outside of aforementioned countries. Latin America is a region that deserves closer scrutiny from the industry. Central and South America are home to complex cyber threat landscapes and base of hackers. The threats in this region is largely fueled by political and economic instability. For example, no, for instance, Latin America has one of the world's highest rate of cryptocurrency adoptions due to historically unpredictable national currencies and general public distrust in the banking sector. This is important because a large-scale cryptocurrency usage and online banking activity increases attack vectors and potential rewards for cybercriminals. The cyber threat landscape in Latin America is a double-edged sword. For the region, it can be characterized as both perpetrator and victim of cyber attacks. On one hand, there has been a notable uptick in advanced cyber operations orchestrated by malicious actors. On the other hand, private sector entities, government agencies, and journalists in Latin America are increasingly victimized. Indeed, the region is home to a complex web of cybersecurity activity that affects businesses' operations. Thus, cyber threats in Latin America are worthy of analysis and discussion. One of the primary factors distinguishing Latin American cyber criminals from their counterparts in Russia and China is that their operations are highly localized. In general, threat actors in Latin America operate on a smaller scale, focusing their operations on private sector entities, government agencies, intelligence services, and journalists based on the same area. They prefer tried and true methods of network exploitation, such as spear phishing. 90, I'm gonna say maybe not, yeah, no, 90% of of you getting your account taken or clicking on some backdoor program is spear phishing. Use of open source multi-stage payloads and other living off the land techniques. These groups tend to be financially motivated and opportunistic in nature. While some Latin American APTs have orchestrated attacks based on political messaging, there is not much evidence to indicate that they have state-sponsored or even state-aligned. Meet Machete, aka Ragua or Arkentos Life Control, one of the most well-known and advanced APTs associated with the region. This threat actor is likely located in Latin America based on the Spanish language artifacts found in the source code. Believed to have been operating since at least 2010, Machete typically targets military agencies and political institutions of Venezuela, Ecuador, and Colombia. However, the group also exploited victims in the US, Europe, and Asia. Machete is known for espionage, network surveillance, and targeted social engineering. In March 2022, shortly following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, researchers discovered a massive phishing campaign launched by Machete against financial institutions in Nicaragua. To gain initial access to the victim's systems, Machete sent a spear phishing email containing a clever lore document which contained malicious micros. So this was their backdoor program right here. So that's where the malware is right here. The document contained a legitimate article published by the Russian ambassador to Nicaragua regarding Russian-Ukraine relations. Once the victims downloaded the document and activated the micros, the attackers installed a custom backdoor version of Loki.rat, an open source malware previously used by Machete. So now, let's look up what the fuck this is. Remote access tool. I'm not even surprised. Let me see. So Loki.rat. Jordan, yeah, whatever. Let me see. Only use this software according to your current legislation. Misuse of this software can raise legal and ethical issues, which I don't support, nor can be held responsible. A command and control server, which is the web interface to administer the agents of an agent program, which is run by compromised hosts and ensures communication with. So Loki.rat is a command and control server. So if you guys don't know, what happens is that a command and control server is set up on a public server, and then that public server, because it's public, again, it's hard to access private IP addresses. So like your home network works on a private IP address, so it's hard to communicate with it, right? So what a lot of people do is that they'll set up a command and control server on a VPS, virtual private server, on the internet, and then they'll run programs like this one. And Loki.rat, I'm assuming, is just like a very nice, like, it has like a nice little GUI where like it'll show like, okay, these computers you can compromise. What do you want to do next? Do you want to download something? Do you want to upload something? Do you want to record their keystroke? Do you want to take, you know, photos, etc., right? So that's what this is, right? So as you can see here, so obviously it's showing the, so this would be the web interface, right? So I'm assuming this would be the computer that's compromised, and there would actually be a bunch of them down here. And then what you can do with this is you can actually start attacking other computers, like a DDoS attack. And there's command and control servers that have that program in them. So that's how a lot of like DDoS attacks happen. Is that some hacker will figure out a way to infect, like, I'm not even joking, thousands of computers, and those thousands of computers will communicate with the command and control server, which will be here, and then there would be instructions, right? There'd be like a manual. Okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to DOS? Do you want to, like I was just explaining to you guys earlier? So let's keep going down. Looks like it's written Python, is it? What's this thing written on? Let me see. This is server. Yeah, it is written in Python. So import random string from date, import date, SQL class, ID, blah 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 blah, class, DB model, blah 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 blah. Loki.py. So these import functions, they call on libraries. They give the program specific abilities, right? Like import random, so it's doing some sort of random stuff, and then string, which would be like characters, and then it's hashing something, and then it's calling for the operating system to do something specific, whether that's opening a file. It's calling on the operating system to do something, and then the time, date, shut. I'm assuming that's to shut the computer down. So this definitely is telling the operating system to do a lot of stuff. So once your computer gets compromised, this right here. You see, from Flash. What's Flash again? I know it's a framework or something. Flash is a microwave framework in Python. It's classified as a microwave because it does not require particular tools. So no, it makes sense. So it's the web GUI is written in Flask. So let's keep going. Add Flash. At the request. Configure. Random. Config. Secret key. Random. Class development. Configure. Debug. True class. Production. Configure. Alright, so going on the. It's asking for an API. Oh, dang, I'm not. Let me see. JSON base 64 encoding OS template. So now it's asking other parts of the import. Let's see. Geolocation. So the API, which normally you need like a code for it, Now I'm assuming it's asking something, some sort of like service that has an API code on the internet. GeoIP, record address, info city, country code. Record admin, see. Return pending commands for the agent. So now it's waiting for the host. Upload, if not agent, abort 404 for file request, file that entry. File. More operating system stuff, which is here. So let's see what we find on the agent side. Import shut temp file. Built agent output server, your platform, hello, idle time connection, platform. If platform not Linux, Windows, supported platforms, Linux and Windows. You could always learn a lot by the by reading source code. Build agent, config, server, local host. It's interesting. Alright, so it's asking for command line stuff now. It even has instruction flags. Lock screen windows, payload.py. Ooh, wow. So this part right here is, it's pretty much it's getting everything in your computer. C types. I'm assuming that it might accept C code for something. Maybe that's the payload itself, right? So GeoPy, JSON request time, so compress, subprocess, platform sys, trace back, zip file hash. Let me see if OS non-NT from build import image grab, else import py screenshot as image grab, import os.system.clear. Let me see here. Oh man, this is where all the dirty work is happening. Low key executable schmod.